Hi everyone, Christian B. Burnaby, Vancouver-based real estate agent. Welcome to Rapid Fire Real Estate, where I take you through 5-6 topics. You can take that intel with you out into the marketplace, and if you want more help, you can find my contact in the show notes below. Okay, for this video, I want to just jump right into the very first story here, because I think it's very important that you know this if you're buying pre-sales. And this one comes, there's a project completing in downtown Vancouver right now, and the purchasers would have bought into this 4 to 5 years ago during the launch phase. And this story comes to me through the grapevine, where an individual has bought a $3 million condo and put down a 10% deposit, $300,000. Now, today, that $3 million condo is worth maybe $2 million, right? Because the luxury market has taken a hit. And so the buyer is thinking of not completing, in essence, walking away from their $300,000. Because to that buyer, that actually saves them money because the value of the unit's only $2 million perhaps. Well, in a rising market, the developer will let you get away with that because they keep your $300K and then they can resell the unit at a higher price, perhaps 3.2 or 3.3. However, in a declining market, this is going to make for some sleepless nights. The developer is going to include language in your pre-sale contract. Look close, it's there. And it says something to the effect, but not in these exact words, that the developer reserves the right to mitigate their losses in the event the buyer doesn't complete. What does that mean? What that means is if they sell that same unit for $2 million, that they reserve the right to come after you for that $700,000 difference. So while this person may be walking away from $300,000, they may be walking also away from being, well, they're trying to, but they may be liable for the difference in the sale price, which could be, if the developer sells it for $2.5 million, they're still going to come after him for another $200,000. If they sell it for $2 million, they're going to come after him for $700,000. And they're setting a precedent and letting the other buyers know that if you back out, you could be responsible for this. So very interesting. Keep that in mind. When you are buying a pre-sale, go over that contract carefully. This is what we do as realtors with our clients. At least that's what I do with mine. So make sure you understand that. And it's not exactly worded that way in the contract. A few other points I wanted to go over with you is... Now, a second thing, change from the OFSV. OFSV is the superintendent for financial regulator here in Canada. And they made a small change that didn't get a lot of play. And the change is that if you have a mortgage with your current lender and it is now terminating, meaning the mortgage is up. In the past, if you were going to take your mortgage, let's say you're with TD and you want to move it to RBC, you had to re-qualify with RBC and the stress test was applied on your mortgage. But what if you've had a job change? What if one of you have lost your job? You may not qualify to move that mortgage to another bank. In effect, you were stuck with your current bank, which meant that they could offer you pretty much anything they wanted to because they had you by the you-know-what. Well, so what this change does is it means that once you've qualified and you have a loan with one of the banks, if it's TD, for example, you can now move your loan to any other regulated financial institution. And that is going to make your life a lot better because now you can shop around for competitive rates and terms. And it's going to provide an incentive to your current lender to provide competitive rates and terms since they're going to want to keep your business. So in essence, there was a one sentence here that came from an article online, I think, which encapsulates it really well. Quote, "This rule makes it difficult, if not impossible, for some owners to find a new lender and take advantage of cheaper interest rates. When a borrower can't switch to another lender, the current lender faces almost no competition and can offer higher rates to these captive borrowers without fear of losing their business. So that is now done away with. And if you're a homeowner, a little bit of good news there, you can shop around and not have to worry about the stress test. Third topic for today's video is selling off market. I talked to an owner and recently who was thinking that she could save a lot of money by selling her place off market, sometimes called an exclusive sale, thereby saving on the real estate commission. And a lot of people are sort of susceptible to this. Hey, if I can save on the real estate commission, I'm doing well. You know, you got to do the math on something like this. When you're, let me put it in another way. If you're negotiating with one party, that one other party is not incentivized, just like the previous example, is not incentivized to give you the best offer, right? Because there's no competing parties. And if, let's say, you're wanting to list your house and sell to Bob across the street for 1.8, and Bob's saying, hey, you're not going to have to pay the buyer's agent, the listing agent. You're saving $50,000. I'll give you 1.8. But what if you can get 1.95 or 2 million on the open market? So if you can get 1.95 minus the 50K, you're still coming out with $50,000 more. And it's always to your benefit to list on the public market because the whole world can see your listing. I mean, you're literally on 17,000 websites across North America. If I were selling my grandmother's home and I weren't taking a single dollar in commission, I would still put it on the public market because I know it's in her best interest. She's going to be visible to every single buyer who in the Lower Mainland or anybody who's interested is going to be able to find out about her. But in an off-market listing, sometimes called an exclusive, you are hidden. You are hidden under a rock deep in the forest, and nobody's going to know about you. You want to be on the internet where the whole world can see your listing. You're just generally going to make more money that way, even after you deduct the real estate fee. And then you want to look at what you would net. And that's the most important one at the end of the day is what do you net when you sell, not what do you pay necessarily. Okay, number 4 I wanted to touch on was 3-bedroom condos. In a previous video, we talked about this. There is a new development being promoted by the current premier and on the Heatherlands towards the Oak Ridge Mall area. And they are promoting 3-bedroom condos. Again, just be careful with 3-bed condos. It's not really an attractive product in the Lower Mainland and in BC. I haven't seen this catch on. Most buyers, if they're going from a 2-bed to a 3-bed, they're going from a condo to a townhouse. And there's very few 3-bedroom condo buyers out there. Plus, because the price is often based on the price per square foot, the price of a 3-bedroom condo it gets so high that when you compare it to a townhouse in the suburbs, a townhouse makes a lot more sense. So, because you're also getting a garage, maybe a double garage, maybe a little yard. So think carefully. It's a sort of a risky product. I haven't seen it catch on as of 2024. Number 5, I wanted to finish this video with this article I caught in the news, and this was a couple. So this is an example of buying real estate with friends and what happens when you buy real estate with friends. Okay, so this made it into the Vancouver Sun. Actually not a couple. It's a guy and a girl. I'm going to call the girl Carly. I'm going to call the guy Alan. And they met in university. And they both wanted to have a kid, and they agreed that they should have the child live in the same house. But they were not going to be in a relationship. It was going to be strictly platonic. And so this is, I believe, in 2021. In July, Carly gets pregnant, And 2 months later, Alan and Carly buy a house in Squamish for $1.3 million. About a month after that, Carly terminates the pregnancy because of genetic problems, presumably with the baby. Okay, Alan is in a very good position here because his dad is, I guess, in the investment industry, has an investment company. And Alan's dad loans Carly, is basically the bank, and provides the loan to Alan and Carly. January 17th of 2022, this is the following January, they close on the place and Alan and Carly move in. Alan tells Carly that he doesn't want to have another child with her. February, so we're not even 4 weeks in, Alan tells Carly he wants to move out and moves out, saying this ain't going to work. Carly now is living there, and she agrees to take on the property taxes, the utilities, the insurance, and she's agreed with Alan that she's going to have tenants in the other parts of the house, and that's going to help pay the mortgage. February rolls around, and Alan tells Carly he wants to sell his half. This is all within like 6 weeks. And Carly now says, well, okay, fine, but I'm not going to give you the equity gain, and I can't buy your half from you until 2025. And again, you're not going to get any jump in equity. I'm not going to share that with you. Presumably because she thinks she's paying the taxes on this and so on, that she doesn't need to share it with him. Well, Alan's got another card up his sleeve. Alan's father, remember, is the bank. And his father, in April, calls in the loan. He says, nope, Carly, time to pay up. When there is an offer to buy out your share, you need to proceed with it, and you didn't. And so now I'm requesting back the entire loan. What a dog's breakfast. So two apparently very intelligent people, they went to university. We presume they're packing a little bit upstairs, came up with a very interesting plan, very idealistic, and it ended in a dog's breakfast. So I don't recommend buying real estate with friends. I've heard about buying real estate with your brother or with your dad, or where there's a very short time frame, perhaps, where you and someone else are maybe fixing and flipping. But when you come up with these very idealistic scenarios, it generally doesn't work. And well, that's an example of one. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to leave your comments, thoughts below. And if otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thank you.